We are live on X. We're also going to be going live on Instagram because I'm trying to grow those platforms. And then this will be later on YouTube
Okay.
because it'll go on YouTube later.
Gotcha.
LinkedIn, not really, maybe just some shorts. But we've got the world famous Biotechscanner. And I know, look at the viewers just climbing. These, I don't know, man. You draw a crowd like no other. People respect
Dude.
you. People like you've rubbed off on me. I'm trying to also like find some biotech. I found one that I'm a personal fan of, and we'll save it for the last 10 minutes or so. Biotechscanner is not necessarily a fan. He's neutral on it, but that
I'm
one's
neutral.
mine.
Yeah,
That one's
but
mine.
I'll have some opinions on it if you don't mind
Okay.
too later on. But
Yeah, of
yeah,
course. I want
uh,
your opinion. Like I just like the audience, am learning from you. I'm a career practitioner in research, but I'm entrepreneur, but I'm trying to transition. You ever read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? He had
have
that
not.
cash flow quadrant.
Yep, yep, yep.
So you want to go from E and S, which is employee and self-employed, to business owner and investor, which
Nice.
our boy Wayne Rothbaum
Yep.
is one of the living embodiment of that. He went from full-time self-employed to full-time I. He's in the I quadrant, and it bleeds over into the B. And we're gonna get into some of that with IOVA. I did a biography on Wayne Rothbaum on my channel with some help of the AI animations. But
Oh,
this is
you did,
exciting stuff, man. Oh yeah, I'm
dude?
gonna
I
send it
missed
to you.
that. Did you do that while I was gone?
Yeah, you were gone. I'm gonna
Oh,
send it
okay.
to you. I'm gonna send you the link.
Okay. Yeah, send it to me. But hey, thanks for having me again, Dan, and those of you who are on. Really appreciate you joining us. We're gonna have a blast. As always, not financial advice, just sharing our opinions and based on my experience, what I've learned, and um, how did I come about in choosing these two tickers, which are AQST and IOVA, IOVANCE.
Hmm.
And so we're gonna start with AQST because, like you said, Dan, and I like what you said to me personally. You said that suddenly AQST becomes a boring stock, and that's exactly what we want, right?
Yeah.
Because now the company and as investors, kind of everything's kind of shifted to the volatility of, are they going to raise funds? Is the trial is going to be bad? Is it going to be good? The earnings here and there. Now it's going to be. I anticipate acoustic going to be traded kind of range bound for the next at least 2 months. Okay, and I believe that toward the latter part of October, mid October, it's going to get pretty noisy and exciting. Okay. Uh, so let's talk about
You
AQST,
think? Do
okay,
you predict in a good way or a bad way?
in a good way.
Do you think
And
there's? Well, I'll ask you about IOVA next, but let's go for AQST. Do you think
yeah,
there will be a lot of people are sitting now looking at it and saying, "Well, this year it already went like from $2 to $4. Like
hmm
I'm too late." The people are like, "This thing doubled already. I feel like maybe I'm too late." What is your response to that? Do they have another opportunity to get to two? Because we all expect it to jump, but between now and jumping, does it test $2 again? In your opinion, should people be patient or should they just dollar cost average into it?
there is not one scenario that I see it seeing coming back to $2 besides AdCom rejected, or or not recommended to the FDA. That is the only way I see it dropping back down below two. to or below.
So
There
you're saying that scenario would be the AdCom occurs, and the result of that is it's looks like it won't be recommended.
correct. Okay. I do believe that it's going to be range bound, and then people is going to anticipate AdCom approval or recommendation is going to move up quite a bit by then. I anticipate AQST reaching at least $6 by then. It's so those who are thinking, oh, it's already double. You can think that, but you can also think that it dropped from 623 all the way down to 220, whatever it is, close to that, right? So you are right now not at the very bottom of the range. You are still toward the bottom.
Mhm.
Okay. Because excuse me, I'm still
Yeah,
trying to get
man,
over the
we're
respiratory
glad you're
infection,
back.
man.
We're glad we have you back, and
Thank you, brother.
I told you privately, but I should have said it publicly. Like, man, we miss you. You know, you've been a good friend to me and to many over. You've been like a stability. I think people need, especially when things are going bad, people look to very knowledgeable people that they can trust for words of encouragement. Like, hey, why you shouldn't sell. And we haven't had to do that lately with AQST, but we
Yeah.
have in the past. But with IOVA was you were missing during the very tumultuous $1 days again. That thing
Yeah.
dipped back. We'll get to it, but welcome
Yeah.
back. We're glad that you're
Well, thank
feeling
you.
better.
And here's the thing about let's talk about the Bears. Going against AQST. All right. So those who are watching and whoever else on this program, if you go, and I've done this challenge before, all right, you read all of the Bears thesis, and then you compare to what I've said about AQST since about what late January of 2023 or 2024, and um, compare what they said to what I said. Everything that I have said about AQST as far as film, okay, has come to fruition, except that it hasn't gotten approval because only timing, right? But everything that I said from even before phase 3 was announced, I said phase 3 will be will show positive results, right?
Hmm.
That was my entry into AQST in anticipation of the positive result of phase 3. And that's exactly what happened. And that pushed the price from, I got in like around like 187 or something like that. And it went all the way to like 623. All right.
Right.
After approval.
A lot of
And
people
then,
got into that around that time.
yeah. And that's when a lot of people don't know me yet because my Twitter follower count was only around like 1100 or something like that. I know, but the very first ticket that I released was VKTX, and that's when I got a lot of new followers. And VKTX, I got in around 1156 or 55, and it all went all the way down up to 9941 within like 8 months. Okay, and so a lot of people bought in, but they found me late and then they bought in late. Okay. So they bought in like 4 and 5 and 6, and a lot of them get upset. They call me pumpers and things like that. I don't control the price. I only said that Anafilm will have a positive result, phase 3 result. And then after phase 3, there were a bunch of other mini trials that AQST had to do. And each of them, I said that it's going to pass with flying colors on each of them. The acidity test, the temperature test, the oral allergen test, every single one of them. And every single prediction that I made came true.
And not surprisingly, and very like low key, the pediatric data came like through the last call. They said, same as the adults, and
Yeah,
I feel like the market didn't really reward it. Um,
it didn't.
and that's where I told you, like, this is a boring stock now until the next wave, and maybe it's time to accumulate at this point. I mean, I haven't. Have you been? I personally ran out of funds. I've been, on a side note, I've been in the crypto space pretty heavy. Where I think we're in an
Okay,
alt season. I know you don't really get into that, but
right.
maybe in future episodes we'll talk about it. But so there's like things are like 3xing, 5xing like in weeks over there. So I gotta be on that side. I gotta be over there a little. But AQST, I have so much conviction in it. Like I I think I've kicked all the tires on this thing that I
I
know how to do. And with you, I feel even more confident that somebody has kicked it even more so.
I have a lot of shares in IQST. I have not touched it. I've traded it before, and then I basically double my shares because of it on the first move up. Um, and so now I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it because of how
Mhm.
much conviction I have in it.
Do you
And
think
now,
there's a scenario? Because today it's like what, 390 or something, like $4. I didn't even look anymore. It's so boring I didn't look, but
yeah,
something like $4, right?
yeah,
Do you think? I don't think it goes back to two, like you said, but
yeah,
do you think it tests like the low threes again?
it could,
Okay.
especially with macro pictures, not looking good, for example. Um, or it could go the other way around. If the Fed cuts rate, then it's going to be really positive for
Yeah.
AQC and IOVA as well. So, but even with those scenarios, I still see it's going to be range bound. All right. So
What's the new range, do you think, like in the
I
next three
I don't
months?
um I the most that I see it will move is probably 450 at most, between now and the end of October.
Okay.
And then on the negative side, I just don't see it below 3 either. Okay.
Okay.
So it's going to
So would you
be,
say it's like between 3 to 450 is a
yeah,
fair range?
yes,
And considering it's at four, it has more room to drop. Because I'm looking to accumulate more if it drops, right? And if it doesn't, I'm okay living with the shares I have. Honestly, I
yeah,
have too many as it is. But if it dips like to that low
yeah.
threes, I might make some moves and do something because like this thing, like I said, my conviction is super high on this thing. I don't have that kind of conviction on a lot of things except Bitcoin and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
but this thing, as biotechs are concerned, I feel like unless we get screwed by the FDA, which is a possibility,
Good. I
there's only good stuff that could happen.
I have some stuff that I've been holding on as far as DD goes. I'm gonna release it probably Monday. Uh,
Okay.
but what I'm saying is there is no chance that NFL will not be on the market. There is no way.
You're saying no chance.
No chance. It
See, I
will
always
be
leave a little because
100% be on the market.
I hope you're
Now,
right, man. The
now,
wild card is this FDA because sometimes they're wild, and we'll get into that later too. I have the book. Actually, I gotta grab the book when we talk IOVA.
yeah, stuff like Anafilm is what the FDA. Innovation, convenience. If you listen to Dr. McCary and Dr. Prasad, and I've listened to them so many episodes now, their interview, they love stuff like this. They love and they'll talk about that during our events talk, but they love the one-time treatment. They
Yeah,
love they
yeah,
love the cures, and
yeah.
so
They love
this
the
is
convenience. They would love the convenience. You know what they would love? This is where I want to segue into this with AQST because I know you got a lot about IOVA. The price. Barber on that call, the CEO, Dan Barber, you called it aggressive. And when they talked about two things stuck out to me. One is the gel or the gel we'll get to,
yeah
but the pricing power that they have. The market has not recognized that they control the means of their distribution. They control the means of production. They're not depending on overseas. They're not depending which is going to mark up prices, right? They've got in-house so they can become extremely competitive, which is what these guys Macquarie and Prasad are always bitching about, that drugs cost too much for what they're worth and what the benefit is.
yeah.
Here you have something that could be, and Barber said
I
we
let
can be as competitive as we want, and he said something about this like cash, very competitive cash pay, and I know that's your area specifically of expertise, so I wanted to get your take on that.
so I have 18 years of experience in this. I dealt with this on a daily basis. And from what I've heard from Dan Barber, the CEO of AQST, he wants to put Neffy to sleep on day one.
What makes you say that though? Like what? Because of the words he used, or
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I know exactly what he's talking about. And if I were the CEO, that's exactly what I would do because I would wipe out what he's talking about, lowering copay or eliminating the copay. You know what that means? If you go on an FT page right now, you see a $25 copay coupon, right? What Dan Barber is doing, as many big companies do these days, to give their launch drugs instant access to as many patients as they can, is $0 copay. Okay. Now, when you do that, you're forcing the hands of the insurance company, creating demand. Okay. So United Health or Blue Cross Blue Shield or Aetna, they don't have Anafilm, let's say, on their formulary. But suddenly they've seen a bunch of scripts going through on their insurance. They have to pay it. They have to pay a certain amount. But what happened is now they see the demand and they see so many patients on it, they'd be like, well, we better cover this. This is a rescue medication. And if we don't, we may lose that patient or we may lose that family. Okay, that entire family, they're going to change it to Aetna instead of staying on United, for example. So that's why almost every big companies now do that, the $0 copay. Okay, because so imagine that scenario, you being Neffy, being less convenient and bulky, and here is a brand new drug, and that there's something new. There's some advantage about being new,
Mhm.
a new kid in town as well, because you new, you more convenient, you work really fast, you could be carried on the phone, and you'll be with the patient all the time. And now you add in the $0 copay.
Mhm.
Nephi is going to go to sleep. Him and
Do you know? Do you know if Neffy controls their own production like AQST does?
they don't. I mean,
That's
here's a
some.
good example. They have to buy the device from a manufacturer. Okay, so that is always going to be part of their margin or the lack thereof. So I mean, it's just
Are we the only ones seeing this pricing power? Like the fact that you control your own production gives you an advantage, and the fact that that's already paying for itself with their licensing and other business
yeah,
lines they have going. That's
yeah,
not like an extra expense. They're gonna do that anyways, even if it wasn't for NFL.
yeah. I mean, even let's say their device is manufactured in the United States. I think it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it is in
you know,
Kentucky, I think.
yeah, and it's gonna be there's gonna be costs, right? I can almost guarantee you the drug costs less than the device. I can guarantee you that. Okay, because when you mass produce this thing, it's
Mhm.
um, but
That's
but
right. That's
but but,
right.
but then with it's just accused to get 100% of this. It's
Man,
just
you're gonna make me buy AQST on margin tomorrow.
but now when we said that the AQSTs become a boring stock, it's actually a compliment, meaning that as an investor, you can sleep at night. You know,
Yep.
um, there is still risk, of course. There's still risk. There
Mhm.
could be a CRL. It could be rejected if they may request some different trials, to be done. But on the Q2 earnings call, you know, Kristen from Cantor Fitzgerald asked the question of, did you learn anything from your competitor during the CRL process? And then
Yeah.
actually to answer the question, he said, you know what? Of course we did. And he said that what what Nephi ARS team did was they took a chance, and that the AQC team is not going to take a chance. Meaning, what did he mean by that? He so after the CRL letter was sent and received and announced, and of course, um, you know, Sprite dropped big time, and it's the management's fault because they knew the FDA wanted a repeat dose, and they want to see result of the repeat dose. Okay, what they said is the FDA said that we could do that after launch. Okay, so apparently it's not 100% sure, right?
Right.
Because if
Right.
it were 100%, they would not get a CRL. So Danny's saying we're not taking any chance. That's why we did even something better than what Nephi did. We
But
did
what
the
isn't that
oral challenge.
I mean, I listened to that replay like 3 times, but isn't that a stupid question from an analyst? Like that should have been a question they asked a year ago. I mean, the CRL was received by SPRY like what, a year and a half ago. Why ask that now? If
It's
you're a professional, like, isn't that kind of dumb?
Well, it's actually not too bad of a question, but it's just a very it's called in the press term. It's a softball question, right?
Okay, so she wanted to throw a softball.
Yes, because
That's what I figured.
of course, a week later, Cantor Fitzgerald get to make the deal to sign the deal for them, right?
Okay.
And so it was a soft question. She knew that she's gonna get a good answer from Dan Barber, but it's a question that many in the audience actually may not have heard. What did you
Sure,
learn?
sure.
Because Dan actually revealed what actually happened, right? And so what they're saying is the ARS team knew that the FDA wanted repeat dose. They went ahead and submitted anyway, whereas we are not going to do that. And so that's why we did the oral allergen challenge trial. So that's why they have the most detailed, application, NDA, application ever, and they have the most patients on the film ever. It's like over 900 patient doses given, right? So I just don't see AQST getting the CRL. The data is so good, and the range of material that they cover is so complete that I just don't see the FDA has any good reasons to give them a CRL.
Right.
It will be shocking to me.
But that's not priced in. This sentiment you and I share is not priced in.
No, it's not.
That's where the arbitrage lies.
Yeah, that's why the range bound thing, right?
Yeah.
Remember too.
But even the range bound, what you said, what you said, 3 to 450.
Yeah,
It's negligible if this thing's like $15 upon approval. Like, who cares? 3,
right.
450. It's no real difference.
So to answer your question that you asked earlier, it's already moved from 2 to 4 something. Is it too late? No, because you've got to look in the future. Because remember, too, Spry made a huge move after approval, right? It slowly made it increase the share price, but it made a massive move after approval as well. And so you have to consider this. Okay, look at all of the anticipation. They move as we get closer to AdCom announcement, and then anticipation of AdCom decision, and then the anticipation over the FDA decision, and then the partnership or European, EMA approval. I mean, all of these things will come, and we're not even talking about a possible buyout, a possible partnership with a large pharmaceutical company, which is what Dan wants. He doesn't want some mom and pops. Oh, let us help you launch. No, he wants a company with a big footprint in the primary care setting to complement their allergist targets. Okay, so you have all of these besides approval. You have all of these, auxiliary events that could really move up the share price. There's going to be so many things, not the least of which is also the gel AQST 108 as well.
Man, that thing stuck out to me too. It really quick. This Cantor, I understand why the softball question now.
Yeah.
Because one of the things we can worry less about is any more dilution. I think they just announced right after the call the next day. They announced the $85 million underwriting offer at $4 a share, which is, thank God.
Yeah.
Any lower than that, people would have freaked out if it was.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a consortium of these groups, right? A bunch of the big investors, which is like Samsara, Ecor.
Yeah.
But the Leerink and Cantor and Oppenheimer are the joint book running managers.
Correct.
And H.C. Wainwright. So I understand the softball question from Cantor in that case. It makes sense.
Yep.
Because I was like, why would a professional ask this if they're, I mean, you and I at that point can be way more than professionals on this thing.
But yeah, it's and that's part of being now, because that's one of the reasons that AQST now becomes a boring stock, because you can take that out of the equation. dilution.
At least in the next 6 months, in my opinion, or maybe more.
Yeah, no, they're done because right after approval, they have another deal. What, 75 million for launch or something like that
Yeah,
too?
yeah. They
It,
got the
yeah,
85, and then they
and
got the
75 was
75 million strategic
yep,
funding
yep,
agreement post
yep.
approval.
Right.
So that's
RTW.
correct. So it's 160 million in
Yeah,
total, which
plus the 60 they already have,
plus
right?
the 60 they already have. Yeah.
So that for launching just one product, that is plenty of money, and they have leftover for
Yeah.
AQST clinical
108,
trial.
which if this was a company like the shorts are worth trying to scare people, if this was a company panicking and they're gonna dilute, they would not have discussed 108. And that's the very next day they announced the strategic funding. So to me, that shows a lot of confidence in not just Anafilm, but in this 108 gel, which we've been talking about too.
Yeah, yeah. That if we get a positive clinical trial data on that, that's
Oof.
gonna be
And they're
it.
going phase
Yeah,
two, straight
and
to
I
phase two.
I told everybody already that that 108 is going to be bigger than NFL. Okay.
Potential, yeah, because that's
Yeah.
a chronic
Yeah.
condition.
Well, it also has a larger market as well. And but the thing is, as I said before, it paves the way for other pro drug from the pipeline,
Yeah,
right? Uh,
Adrenoverse. Everybody forgot about the
yeah,
Adrenoverse.
because the Adrenoverse potentially could have 20 drug coming from there,
Right.
right?
Everyone forgot because no one's talking about that anymore. Just me
No,
and you.
yeah, because when they took 108 off the table, right? Then yeah, it's that's
Mhm.
but that's the reason. But yeah, it's I sleep very well at night. It's going to be range bound, but
Mm.
starting late October and November and early November, it's gonna be
Gets exciting.
pretty fun. And
So enjoy the calm before the storm,
yeah,
basically.
I
You
wouldn't
have
short stock, man.
I wouldn't short it.
I
I think a dream scenario would be I've never shorted a stock in my life, so I wouldn't even know how to do it. But
yep.
long this, going long on this on margin. Again, not financial advice.
Yeah.
Long AQST with margin, short SPRI. That's like the ultimate combo. If you have,
When I was listening to that conference call when he talked about lowering the patient's responsibility and all that, I knew exactly where he's going. He didn't say it out, but he's thinking $0 copay. That's exactly what he's thinking. And when you do that, when you have a superior product and you have better access,
so
dude.
the $0 copay is basically them subsidizing it, right? So it's like
Correct.
it's almost like a commercial for going viral,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's such a try and true method of getting your drug out to as many people as quickly as you can,
Hmm.
and you may lose them in the front end, but you are forcing insurance company
Yeah.
to pick you up.
And they're paying the cost of production at cost, not at a premium that somebody else is
Yeah.
manufacturing. They're doing it at. See, that's the part right there. Okay. I'm good with AQST now. I don't know if you want to add anything more. I know you're.
No, the only thing I would say is just ignore the day-to-day price movement. And if you are not an investor yet, um, I would say, um, I would say be patient and add if you don't have any share, add on any dips. Um,
Dips
this
are for dipping. Dips are
yeah,
for dipping.
that's right. So and
We're
so
gonna
now
have dip. What kind of dip we're gonna have at the NFL approval party? We gotta plan that. This is gonna be a real thing now.
yeah, dude. So there's some foot raising about headaches and stuff. Um,
This is Will. Before we move on to IOVA, welcome back. Awesome cash raise, investor backed raise, funny FUD going around on headaches after use, which is obvious if you know anything about the drug. Yep, the shorts are always shifting to something else. So now it's like headache and nausea, which the risk of vomiting.
now,
I'm on stock twits. I see you guys.
I I heard this about Neffy. Okay,
Mm.
so there's a report out on Neffy that it's not working as well as EpiPen. A lot of people have major complaints with headache and things like that. So, um, first of all, that is Neffy. Okay, that's not NFL. So, because it is given in a different location, a different cavity. So yes, it could have different impacts
Yeah.
physiologically. So there may be an advantage of giving it under the tongue. I don't know. Now, as
Well,
a,
with the FUD, I think the headaches, if yeah, it might be Neffy. Maybe what Will's getting at is the nausea because people are saying the vomiting.
right. So, but again, the nausea, the vomiting. You know why you're experiencing that? Because the drug is actually working. That's exactly what epinephrine does, and that's just
Mm.
the accepted side effect
And
of
that's literally a side
epinephrine.
effect of everything. Like that's a side effect of my coffees in the morning. Honestly, like if I drink too much on an empty stomach, I'll get nausea. If I drink too much coffee, I'll get a headache. I
Okay,
mean,
so
they're really nitpicking at
yeah,
this point.
well, as I said, that I've been in this industry for almost 19 years. Do you know what is the number one side effects for any drug? It's unbelievable. So if you don't believe me, just read in the PI. Pick some random drug, GLP-1s, kidney drug, blood pressure drug, COPD drug. The number one side effect. It doesn't matter what try, even on the placebo side,
Nausea.
nasopharyngitis. It
Oh,
is
really?
unbelievable. It's almost in every drug, but no, it's dude. I'm not worrying about side effects because it's a rescue medication
Right.
with known and accepted side effects because it works so fast. It causes your body to vasoconstrict. And of course, it's going to cause some discomfort, nausea, headache, vomiting. Of course, but you know what? You get to live. You get to
Right.
live. And I brought this up before. I lost my sister. I would trade for that headache. I would trade for that nausea. I would trade for that vomiting to have my sister still here with me.
Yeah.
Uh, and so yeah, it's fine. NFL is fine.
Yeah. I agree. Conviction 100 at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be I'll be looking to load even more shares at this point.
So can we transition to Iovance?
Yeah. We have one more question from Will. I don't know if you feel like doing this. Can you talk about the run up versus post potential FDA approval? In your view, does this run into FDA or post FDA? Because post FDA, we are now more earnings focused.
Um, every ticker is different, and the macroeconomic picture can also impact the daily movements. But typically, the run up is always before approval. Okay, but there's reason why you always see another run up after approval, because there's a group that um, are less, a group that don't want to take a group that don't want to take risks, so they wait for approval and then they jump in right away, and then so you have a group of those people, and then that causes the price increase, all the time. And then a lot of time, and you see this with Spry as well, the partnerships came after approval. And I anticipate that could happen the same with NFL. So if that were to happen, then you're going to see a huge run up after approval as well. And I do see $15 easily with NFL being approved.
That's
With
kind of always been my target, more or less.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
So
All right.
anyway, good
Thank you.
question. Thank you for the question.
Man,
So
AQST is exciting again. It's not boring.
yeah. So IOVA Iovance, it actually Iovance is now my largest position because I get some additional funds on my account. And when I saw the opportunity that dip at 172, I just I'm like, really? And while I was in Vietnam, it went all the way to, but I'm like, I'm not saying, I'm like, I want this and AQST to be my last tickers that I'm stressed about, right? That I could worry about, because if it's true of what I thought it could be, I will retire instantly and I will trade just for fun, you know. And Iovance Biotherapeutic, to me, represent the most upside potential of any ticker in biotech that I could think of. And there's so many ticker I see on a daily basis. And I look at them, I do research on them, even as much as as many shares as I have in AQST, which I cannot add because I'll be averaging up a lot. Um, I so if I see AQST to 15, so you're thinking, so that's about 400%, 350%, right? With Iovance at the current price, okay, at what, 253 or 52, it is, to me, an unbelievable opportunity, because I truly believe that the company will be a $30 billion company. If you look at the pipeline, even with melanoma by itself right now, with just Amtagvi,
30 billion is over a 30x.
yeah, and exactly. And so what I'm saying now is within 2 years, it will 10x easily. Okay, so for the next 2 years, I'm only conservatively thinking maybe 10x,
Now,
because
10x is really only has to get to like a $5 billion market cap, I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm telling you that this could be my last trade, my last investment, because
You're young, man. What do you mean last?
yeah. So remember
We got to
that
get you into crypto after.
yeah, the after MTAC got approved February 2024, it got to $18. Okay, and it went all the way back down to 160 something. Okay, and
Yeah.
I got in at 172.
Yeah.
So if you want the definition of a bottom, this is it. Another thing is, when it got to 18, the company raised a lot of money okay, for manufacturing expansion, authorized treatment centers expansion. Now they have more than 80 of them. They're working on automation for manufacturing, the hiring of for launching MTAGV. So what I'm saying to you is you're currently buying in at this price. All those things that I just mentioned is already paid
Right. I think
for you.
people hear you. People with IOVA hear you. Like I haven't researched it enough to be as convicted as with AQST. It's more
Yeah.
of I trust that you know what you're doing, and then it's worth looking into. The problem is, and I'll just speak for myself, when you look at a stock like this and you see like such a promising potential and it's a very low price, you think, okay, but it's a low price for a reason. Like, how long is my money going to be tied up? Because not everyone has the appetite to
Yeah.
be range bound between 150 and let's say $4 for the next
Mhm.
4 years. They're,
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you got
Yeah.
crypto over here, like mooning every day. Late last week it hasn't, but
Either it's mooning or you get moon. Either way.
right, but you get the dopamine spikes, right? But people with these kind of biotech, I've been in this bottom basement of other companies, and it's just not fun, man.
Yeah.
Like people don't have the stomach for that. So it's not enough. Those first two criteria are not enough for a lot of people. It's like they need a third one, which is quickly recovering.
Yeah.
When that's the,
So
in my
that
opinion, this one is a long term, unless I'm wrong.
actually, Dan, um, I think just like you, I don't
Yeah.
want my money to be tied up.
It's
I
not
want it.
fun, man. It is
I
not
want
fun.
it to grow. And here's the thing. I'm telling you right now, Iovance is the most fun ticker that you could be in right now than anything in biotech. And
Wow.
here's why. One of the best advice that I've received from a seasoned investor, he's a multimillionaire, he's a friend of mine, because I
Ah,
asked
can we
him,
get him on the show one day?
yeah, I asked him, and he's retired too.
Yeah.
He's a real estate guy. But
Okay.
anyway, I asked him, what do you have any advice for me? Because when I first got into trading like 3 years ago, and he said a bunch of things, but one thing that stood out. I said, how did you choose a stock? Right? And here's what he said. He said, find a good company that is experiencing bad news. Okay. So what do we have in Ireland? Okay. When we invest in a biotech company, the number one thing to consider before you even think about putting one dime in it is the drug. It has to be the drug. Okay. It's the foundation that is built on everything. You can have an amazing management and this drug sucks. It's not going to work. Okay. So MTAGV has turned out to be an amazing drug. And what happened is the 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 selling of the drug is not as fast as investors would like. Okay, and that's mostly due to manufacturing issue, and I can address why is manufacturing an issue. But remember, it is getting better, and there's some reason, basic foundational reason why it will get better. So Amtagvi is an amazing drug. It saves life. It wipes out all of these cancers. A lot of these patients, Dan, they don't just have melanoma. Because remember, melanoma is already spread to brain,
Yeah. Yeah.
lungs, kidneys, whatever else. And then when you inject the TIL therapy, Amtagvi, and then IO2, of course, a dose of chemo before that, lymphodepletion, it wipes out.
You know my favorite part of this drug, that when you first told me about it, I did it heavy, like 8 hours into it.
Uh-huh.
And I was reading simultaneously Prasad's book, Malignant,
Okay.
which I can stand up and go bring, but I would have to get off camera for a second. Well, next time you talk, I'm going to go get it. But
Okay.
you know what makes all this shit worth it? All the growing pains they're going to have? They have plenty.
Yep.
One and done. What, like that, if is worth the risk, because
Yep.
these guys love it. They've written books about how we need more one and done for cancer. Prasad, his entire book, I'm gonna go get it next time we talk. But that's why I think it's worth
It's
struggling with, even if it's a basement dweller for like 2 years.
yeah.
I
Those
think it is.
and we've talked about this
Yeah.
offline, but um, those of you who are watching, listen to me. Iovance Biotherapeutics will be the most exciting biotech company from now until the end of the year and the entire 2026. And here's why. Um, the drug Amtagvi works really well. Unfortunately, so because it wipes out all the cancers, unfortunately, even though it's indicated as second line, meaning after some radiation or chemo and then Keytruda, immune checkpoint inhibitors, physicians are supposed to be referring that patient and use Amtagvi for treatment. They're not. They are making the patient doing a bunch of other combos because they think that Amtagvi should be just right before the patient dies. That is the wrong way to do it. And guess what? The data, the 5-year real world data, just did Iovance an amazing favor because this is the biggest thing that's happened to Iovance since the approval of Amtagvi, and I posted that on X. Because now key opinion leaders are saying, "Oh my God, why are we saving Amtagvi until like fourth and fifth line? Why not right after Keytruda?" And it bears it out, almost more than 60% ORR.
But it's unfortunately it's the cost, right? That's why.
Yeah, it is. So it is expensive, but Dan, think about this: the delay. What is the cost? What is the true cost in the delay of giving Amtagvi? It's going to be costing more than the Amtagvi treatment by itself. I'm not even talking about costing lives here, man. Okay, we're talking strictly money. You are risking lives, and you're also not saving money. There is no good reason to save Amtagvi until the last line. Okay, it is such an amazing drug, and then what is amazing is what comes behind Amtagvi. And I'll talk about this quite a bit on X this week, is that their next generation TIL, IOV 4001, which is an anti-PD-1 or PD-1 inactivated TIL. So that's what inactivation of PD-1, that's what Keytruda does. Imagine that this is Amtagvi with that ability with it as well. How much more effective it will be. So why did I say that this is the most exciting biotech? company now to the end of the year and beyond. There are so many catalysts coming, because another thing that current investors are getting, or riding the coattails of the investors that were paying $15 to $18, is that the 15 to 14 from the 10 to $15 investors, they paying for the 11 clinical trials that is going on right now with IOVA. Okay, now you get these prices with the trials going on, and data is about to be released. Okay, so the between now, they said second half of 2025. What are we getting? We are supposed to be getting data on non-small cells lung cancer.
Yeah.
If positive, which I am 99.9% sure that it will be positive, then the company will apply for accelerated approval for non-small cell lung cancer. That is second line, okay? Just like Amtagvi.
Same
And I
thing
think,
they got, right? Yeah, same.
yeah. So let me back up a little bit. The strategy of Iovans is all of their indication. It always come out second line first and then front line. Okay. So non-small cell lung cancer, the same deal. Second line and then front line. Endometrial cancer, second line and front line. Okay. And then they have other cancers, head and neck cancer, cervical cancer, and all that. So, as I've mentioned on X, okay, there's CAR T for blood cancers.
Which the
When
administration does not like.
and, yeah, exactly, and that only makes up about 10% of cancers. The
Okay.
the rest of the 90% is solid cancer, solid tumors.
So yeah.
That is the space that Iovance is in. Listen to me, folks. There is zero competition as of right now. Iovance basically has a monopoly
The
in
the
solid tumors.
the the thing with Iovance, besides the one you like, I think she's the CFO, or what is she? The COO, the lady.
CFO, yeah. Her name is Colleen Roche.
The rest of the management, I mean, based on that call, it was awful, man. Like some of those guys sounded arrogant as hell. I know they're oncologists and they tend to be like, but if you compare one of those calls to like an AQST call where you guys are like humble, like when they talked, remember they had that day where last year where they announced 108. That was the most down to earth
Yeah.
dermatologist,
Yes. Yes.
and then you contrast that with this Iovance where like the ship is burning and these guys are acting like it's no problem and like we're just too stupid to understand. I felt as an investor like turned off by that thing. Like that they need to make some change. Our boy Wayne Rothbaum, he got to
So
be pulling some strings right now.
I love the new CFO, and I look forward to hearing her the next, earnings call.
Hmm.
But I just tweeted this out a while ago. The new hire, Dr. Mark Theoray, as the senior vice president, regulatory strategy. So he's going to be working with basically the FDA with all of these drugs coming out, the indications that they wanted to get. But look at his prior experience, and I just got the chills just reading about what he did. So, you know, you have all these drugs coming out. The thing that you want the most is a solid relationship with the FDA or somebody from the inside of the FDA, right?
Hmm.
Well, look at what he did. For more than 15 years, Dr. Theoret held various roles in the United States Food and Drug Administration within the Oncology Centers of Excellence, as well as the Centers for Drug Evaluation and Research, CEDAR. These are the organizations that approve cancer treatments. He's
Yeah.
inside. And then for the past 5 years, he served as Deputy Center Director at OCE, Acting Supervisor, Associate Director of the Office of Oncologic Diseases, CEDAR. I mean, he has been in the room to approve drugs for melanoma.
So he got hired when? Recently? Or
Yeah, on July 10th, while I was gone.
was he on this call or no?
I don't think he was, but
There's a Russian sounding dude that was pissing me off, man.
no, that's Igor. Igor,
Dude,
I like him.
Igor, we gotta get you on the pod, maybe, man.
Yeah, but
Straighten some things out.
so what they have, and I guarantee you, this is Wayne Rockbaum's deal, creating this new position, knowing they have all of these indications, non-small cells, frontline melanoma, endometrial cancer,
Yeah.
and all the other, and then of course
HNSCC. Which one is the monotherapy? I know they have a lot of combo therapies like on the cancer, but there's one monotherapy.
But those are all of them are mono except the frontline melanoma. That's the combo.
That's the combo,
with
right?
Neuro, so yeah,
They have another study with the combo with Keytruda.
That's the one. That's Tilvan 301. So remember, Amtagvi was approved with accelerated approval, meaning they have to do a phase 3. So Tilvans is a phase 3 to get full approval as well as frontline. Okay.
I got you.
So this is why it's so exciting, because right now with just Amtagvi alone, with them still trying to find their way with manufacturing, and they are already producing 200-300 million dollars. Imagine when frontline indication comes. Okay,
I got you.
Yeah, and then non-small cells, if the data is positive, and that's coming second half, which is any day, and the market size for non-small cells then is so much larger than melanoma. Okay, it is so.
What's the range? What do you think the range is? Like, let's say, I don't know, rest of the year, or what's a good window to analyze this? Like, let's say next 3 months, what's a good range bound?
Well,
this one's gonna be wilder than AQST.
No, I think wild will be an understatement, because because if that non-small cell data is positive, that's basically saying that's a phase 3, basically, right? Because they are applying for accelerated approval, just like Amtagvi was. Amtagvi was approved during phase 2 with phase 2 data. You
Right.
see, so if that is positive, that's going to be at least 100% move, at least. And here's the thing that's so dangerous for shorts, because IOVA has a high short interest, and so imagine the squeeze going to happen. And I don't know why shorts are in it, because phase 2 data could arrive any morning now, because they said second half. Okay, and then you also have data for melanoma for IOV 4001, which is the next generation TIL. that is also coming in the second half of 2025. All right. And then guess what? Endometrial cancer also coming in the second half of 2025. So you have this massive potential move here. So imagine, so because they said, hang on, sorry,
Yeah, no problem.
they said second half. So imagine, I mean, if I were CEO, if I were Frank, and I want to screw with the shorts, I would release non-small cells, even though I have data on endometrial cancer and then IOV 4001, I would hold them to them
But do
because
you
as soon as I see a dip, I would release it. So imagine back to back to
You're
back.
right. But do you think I mean, do you like this CEO? I know we love Barber, we're both fans. But how would you rate this guy? I don't have an opinion other than I don't like the management overall.
Okay, so people want to bag on Frank,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not the CEO. I mean,
Rothbaum is the de facto CEO.
yes, yes,
Well,
yeah.
why does he tolerate such a crappy? I would have fired some people after that call, honestly, unless
I
they were trying to do it on purpose.
No, I tell you, I had also had a very negative feeling after a
Yeah, we
Q2.
were texting each other. We were like,
Yeah,
"God
yeah.
damn,
And
this is
I
ugly."
was I was upset, and then you know because I already have a bunch of shares, I don't want to be impacted negatively just because my emotions were high.
Yeah,
But
mine
then
too.
when I read through it and I took time, kind of think about things, I'm like, this will be the last lowest point of the company because I believe that the trend is gonna go up because the if you look at the report, they have done a beautiful job of um, restructuring the company. You know, they had layoffs, they cutting
Right.
loss. Now they extended the cash runway into Q4 of 2026.
Yeah, they
That,
had massive layoffs.
yeah, that's amazing to me. So I love the new hire CFO. I love the new position that was created strictly to work with the FDA. That is so smart.
Well, they need that. I mean, you
Yeah,
have to be political in these
yes,
days too.
yes. But people who are thinking about this company say, oh, should I buy in at this price? So a one of the most amazing investor of all time in biotech. He's also on the board of trustees with Iovance, and his average is like around $9 or something to that effect. Okay,
On IOVA?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So his average is
Who is this? Who is
Wayne
who?
Rothbard.
Oh, Wayne himself. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. His average is way high, and you know
Uh,
what? He's not gonna lose because this is his baby. Okay, and you and I read the book. If if you haven't read the book for Blood and Money,
for
read it.
blood and money. Let me
Yeah.
go get both books so people can
Okay.
see while you talk,
Okay.
okay?
All right. So if you haven't read For Blood and Money, read it or audiobook it because you will understand how such an ass Wayne Rothbaum is, even though he's an amazing investor, he makes billions of biotech. Because he's a workaholic, he demands so much from his CEO, CFO, and all that. And so that is another reason why I'm so bullish with the company that it won't fail because Wayne Rothbaum has billions behind him, and he's going to see through this. And what we're seeing right now is basically anything bad that could happen to our events, I believe has happened. That's
I
why
hope
we're
so.
getting it at this price.
These are the um books that are, if you're even thinking of IOVA, you need to read both, because this is basically a biography of Wayne Rothbaum,
Yes.
even though there's many characters in here. And
Yep.
I did a 12-minute bio on this book and another one on Wayne Rothbaum. I did 2 videos with AI animations. I'll send them to you, Biotechscanner,
Okay. Thank you.
and I'll mention you in it, and maybe retweet it.
Okay.
One is on this book, so if you don't want to read it, you can watch that 12-minute video. But I think you need to read it. And then Malignant, I haven't done yet. I haven't done an animated video, but this is written by Prasad, who's the guy in charge of the department of this drug. And so these are must read books. And like I said,
Yes.
I did the Wayne Rothbaum bio. Very interesting dude. Very interesting.
Yep.
Agree with you. Not a loser in any way. And if he's involved in anything, you want to kind of ride his coattails.
Yep.
And then this, now that Prasad's back,
Yeah.
it's a required reading. You have to know who's in charge.
Let me tell you right now, listen to Dr. McCary and Prasad talk about gene therapy, cell therapy. They would love Iovance because there is nothing like Amtagvi on the market. It's
Right.
a one and done treatment, and the possibility of cure are there. You hear from the patient all the time. Okay, but the problem with chemo, radiation, Keytruda, oh yeah, it'll help you. It'll help the patient, but eventually the cancers, they come back. And because of the way that Amtagvi works in combination with the lymphodepletion at the beginning, Amtagvi in the middle, IL-2 infusion at the end, they complement each other so much. That's why it wipes out all of these cancer. Now, does it work on every solid tumors or blood? No, it doesn't, because you know why? Because somebody asked me on X, why doesn't TIL therapy work on some cancer or certain cancer? Because cancers are so smart. Okay, it mutates, it changes, it does all kinds of things. But what we have now is that Iovance is looking to treat some really big cancers, melanoma, non-small cells, would take so many lives every year, and now then of course endometrial cancer. So and then in the future, because the next generation TIL, head and neck cancers, so they're going to add more to that. And you read the filing, the company talks about that. So this is why it's so easy for me to imagine and envision Iovance being at least a $30 billion company, because there is no competition. It is in the space that has 90% of the cancers around the world. Okay. And then, of course, we haven't talked about the approval in Canada. And then, of course, next is going to be, I believe it's going to be Switzerland, Swiss, and then Australia, and then of course EU, and then UK too. So it is the most exciting biotech out there that I know of, and I feel like
That sounds like it.
the way it feels like, and I've done the research. I feel like the worst is behind the company, and then the new blood coming in with the new position to work with the FDA, and then on top of everything, the icing on the cake for me is Dr. McCary with the FDA and Dr. Prasad. They both support one-time treatment. They love innovation, and so it just
One-time
all
treatment
together.
is this. If
Yes.
you guys Listen, we got to look through. Okay, if you have like a little bit of time, because this book, just the table of contents, okay, it tells you what Prasad doesn't like. He doesn't like the misuse of surrogate endpoints. All right, which I've actually, when I did my due diligence, I ran this drug Lifocell through this criteria with the help of AI, and it still fits his criteria. I even put some obscure formula on Twitter, on X, and it does meet the criteria for, and he has very strict criteria, and it did meet those so far.
Oh,
Overall survival rate is his most important metric.
and I'm telling you, how could they not loving the testimonies of one after another sharing their cured story? You don't
Yeah,
hear that kind of story with other treatments. You don't. And so yes, Iovance is now the biggest. I'm only in two tickers,
yeah.
Iovance and AQST. And I sleep well at night with these two.
I don't
And
know. You sleep well with IOVA.
I, you know, but I think between now and the end of 2025,
Yeah,
if we get the
we'll
three
sleep better.
things, if they all come in positive, oh my God. I mean, I could
Yeah.
not. I mean, I'm, and I posted this. I just, I don't know what the ceiling is.
What do you think in the between now and year's end, like a good range bound trading for this thing?
Well, if we get the three things and it's all positive,
Yeah.
it could be 15 to 18 by then.
And what's on the low, like the worst case?
Well, worst case is going to be 150. It's going to
Like
go down.
another ugly earnings like the last one.
Okay, so the
And
earning.
no rate cut. Let's do perfect storm. No rate cuts. Bad, maybe some not as good as we expect, NSLC, and then another horrible call quarter 3.
Yeah,
What's
well,
like the
that's almost like a worst case scenario. So we'll be back to 150. If,
Okay,
if
okay.
that's the case, I just don't see that. I see
Yeah.
this by the end of the year. I see it in the teens, because all these three things that are about to come, and
Wow, man.
so it's
Wow.
it's
Well,
that.
you had me at one and done back in when you told me about this in, I think, June or May.
Yeah,
You had me at one and done.
yeah, one and done. And I just posted this just recently, just several hours ago. One of the rarest form of cancer is mucosal melanoma. It's rare, metastatic mucosal. Amtagni has 50% objective response.
Oh, they
On,
did a study on it already?
I posted it. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
it's actually it's in the earnings.
So in
And
their floor cases, like they have a rare disease. Do they have any? Okay, that's okay.
that is crazy. Like,
So the floor would be
it's
like a $2, $3
I'm
based
telling
on that.
I'm telling you right now, it is the floor because I
Hmm.
I just if you get it in right now,
Yeah,
and if we get positive non-small cell lung cancer,
yeah,
it's going to be at least $6.
I
At
could see
least,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least because it's much bigger than melanoma.
Let's
It's
go
much
through some of
bigger.
Otto's comments real quick. Thank you, Otto. Nice watch. That's cool, man. The obnoxiously high short interest rate, or short interest, sorry.
Hard to
Hard
believe
to believe people are still shorting after the first quarter. Um, yeah,
that.
and then far more deaths from non-small cell lung cancer than melanoma each year.
Mhm.
Melanoma was an ideal candidate for the study and development of what is now Amtagvi. Here we are 40 years later. The advent of expansion to more deadly cancers has begun, greatly expanding the prospective market.
Thank you, Otto. You know how much I hate shorts, okay? And I actually have some cool stuff coming out for IOVA uh,
Okay.
involving shorts. So I'm waiting for the right moment to release
Okay.
it. It's actually pretty funny.
Seems like the
Uh,
AQST shorts are gone, you know?
yeah,
There's nothing
that's
left
why
to
it's
hold
going
on
now.
to. The
Yeah,
only thing they have left is a headache, nausea, you know, which is like every drug. Like I said, even my coffee has this same side effects.
yeah, and um, but anyways, um, I I don't feel bad for shorts because they'll be burned. I
Yeah, no, they will.
guarantee you they'll be burned because, because here's the thing: the company said second half of 2025. So, and that's a smart move because you don't let shorts know exactly when. You know, it could be tomorrow morning because we are currently in the second half of 2025. And if I were the company, if I were smart about it, I would spread it out. Okay. Because that's how you do it.
And if you
Um,
know Wayne, I mean, from reading this book and when I produced this video, which I'll tweet him again, uh, the dude's a micromanager. Like his employees all complain.
they hate
He's
him.
relentless, and
Yep.
they hate him. He
Yep.
doesn't let any detail. There's no way he listened to that call and was happy with the execution of the way that was handled. Unless, like I said, they wanted to buy more.
Yeah. So back to that question about you asked about the CEO. I feel like all of these people in the company management are basically hired by Wayne Rockwell to do their job. And if they don't do it to his liking, they'll kick them out. You know,
Yeah,
and so I take comfort in the fact of a multi-billion-dollar investor backing the company.
he almost bought the Mets, and then he almost bought the
Yes,
Marlins.
yes, he did. And
Mhm.
so AQST doesn't have this kind of backing. Okay.
No, they
But so
almost don't need it though. This one needs like adult supervision, big time.
yes, but
This,
but but I think the worst is behind
well, I
them.
hope so, man.
Dan Kirby, I think I'm liking him,
Hmm.
so he's going to be good. But I really like the new CFO. She's already working so hard already. So yeah, I'm very excited about iOvents, and I have a lot of shares, and I'm just chilling. Uh, One of these mornings, or late afternoon after hours, we are going to get a PR about non-small cells, endometrial cancers, and IOV 4001 data.
Okay, I promise I will buy more little by
So,
little. Uh, and now if we transition, there's themes here, man.
yep,
Another billionaire, not CEO, but backer.
yeah,
Another one and done, and a leader in the new therapeutic paradigm of psychedelics. And it is my pick, not yours, but I told you about it.
yep.
You're neutral, like I said, you're neutral. Uh, Atai, ATAI is the ticker, and I want everyone. If you do nothing else, this is like a bonus pick. I'm gonna share the founder. He put 40 billion of his dollars into it.
Million, you mean?
Sorry, 40 million. He is a billionaire though. He's
Yep,
not. He's kind of maybe a not quite Wayne Rothbaum.
yep.
But his name is Christian Angermeyer, and this is his Substack that I recommend everyone. Just if you're interested. RFK, by the way, we're talking about political. These guys are very pro psychedelics. Uh, Momentum milestone, what lies ahead. So this is already $800 million market cap, but they are furthest ahead when it comes to the DMT And this is why I think you might like this. So Spravato, which is the ketamine stuff, already paved the way for like these one and done kind of things. Spravato takes 2 hours treatment window, right? The reason this company is not pursuing psilocybin, but is going DMT intranasal for their treatment resistant of depression. They just released top line results from their phase 2B of BPL-003, which is the DMT, inhalable DMT.
Okay.
Here's why they did this. Christian, I listened to a podcast with this dude. He's likely to come on the show, man. This
Sweet.
dude's gonna come on. Yeah. Uh, Psilocybin require 8 hours of treatment. Insurer's not gonna pay that. DMT, it's an hour and a half of this BPL-003. Payers are on board with that. This is what they're pursuing. This is why they are going the DMT route, which is, you think mushrooms is psilocybin, ayahuasca would be DMT. And so compared to placebo, it's double by day 29 in their study. The MADRS, which is the gold standard for depression scales, dropped by 12 points versus 6 for the placebo. So double the efficacy of placebo, which in depression, it's very hard to do. Very hard. I do these depression study all day long. I've done this since 2005. To get that kind of separation from placebo
Yeah.
is not a common thing, right? The thing against this stock currently is it has a $800 million market cap,
Right.
right? So it, like 2 months ago, was 500. It had a run up recently. Now this founder, who's not the CEO but he's the founder, he's also very into crypto. This is how he made a good amount of his money running these hedge funds. So they're going to start this whole Bitcoin reserve, which is a popular thing to get retail involved and all that. But even if you take that out, the DMT, the 1 hour and a half, and then they have other things coming out too. They have PTSD for treatment. They have a PTSD also, the MDMA. So it's the oral formulation. The furthest one ahead is the intranasal DMT, which they're gonna have in the next, before the year's over, the open label data, meaning everyone who was in the study now gets. Let's say you got placebo and you didn't respond, you will be guaranteed the treatment now. So they will get their open label. And
Yeah.
now we're going to see how they, and I'm telling you, I haven't done this particular drug, but
Right.
I've done psychedelics. It's life changing, man. Like, you only need it one time. And like they're doing for PTSD, that's going to be a non invasive buccal film. I already checked. It's not with AQST. I wish. It's another company that's similar to Aquesta as far as the manufacturing. And then
That
they have a cutaneous R-ketamine further down, and then they have another PTS, or they have another treatment-resistant depression for, I believe, VLS-01, which is another a buccal formulation of DMT instead of the intranasal. So they're patenting all these different formulations, not unlike Aquestive, where it's kind of like pro drug, but these are not pro drugs because obviously it's a completely new class, so they
right.
have to do it. But they got a lot of catalysts coming up, and if you want a leader in the psychedelic space, like they're the furthest ahead. If you take away ketamine, which J&J bought the Spirova or whatever it's called, which pioneered the 2 hour treatment window. This can do it in an hour and a half with the DMT. The administration's very favorable to this stuff. These guys like the crypto as well. They're gonna get on that bandwagon. I don't know. An interesting founder.
Well,
I like one a lot. The only negative is it has had a run up, but
yeah.
you might want to wait for a pullback, which I'm doing. I'm bought a little bit, and I'm waiting for, like, I think we'll have our dips, and we will still have to do a phase 3. So it
Gotcha.
is further out, like, but there, I mean, if the open label comes out good and then the phase 3 starts successfully, this could be $10 billion, $20
Yeah,
billion.
certainly.
And not
Well,
to mention the Bitcoin they'll have in reserves, man.
yeah. Well, listening to what you said about it, yeah, it has definitely has potential, and I can see why you're high on it. I mean, no pun intended, but
It's nice to be high on it too.
yeah, but I hope, because my mother suffered from depression, and
Mhm.
I've told you that, and I hope that it will help people. And I and I've said this to you. I've never heard that anybody that's ever used psychedelic that it didn't work for them. You know,
Right, right.
so I'm glad that they find a way to use it. On these population, PTSD and major depressive disorder. I'm very glad to hear that. I hope that they will be
Mhm.
successful. But yeah, I think you're right with the $800 million market cap.
It's a bit frothy.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a bit
big.
frothy.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why I'm waiting to, like, I'm picking my time, but like with your sister, like the personal connection, I have a deep family connection with mental illness, specifically depression, schizophrenia, bipolar. I mean, you name it. My dad is a psychiatrist because of it. And so I'm very experienced. Psychiatry was my first foray into clinical research 2 decades ago. So
yeah,
this one's special to me on a lot of levels. I'm a
good.
fan of psychedelic for personal use. So this one's special to me on a bunch of levels. But I thought, I might try my version of being a biotech scanner junior and getting a pick. But this one, just watch it. You have time, nothing to rush, but
Yeah,
people should look into it. One
awesome.
and done. One and done, too. I love it.
I love it. Love it. All right, brother. Thank you so much. And those of you who've joined us, thank you for joining us. Hope you had a blast like we did, as always.
Woof. We always go hardcore with this stuff, man.
Yep.
And we're going to do it again, but it's always nice to read your tweets. And I'm going to send you the videos I did, the animated ones on Rothbaum,
Okay.
and I did one on Aquesttive, a history of
Okay.
Aquesttive.
Oh,
So those
awesome.
3 I'm going to send you,
Okay.
and I'll tweet them and tag you in all of them, and we'll get more Biotechscanner Nation watching it.
Awesome.
And then look into ATI. I'm thinking of doing an animated one on ATI and maybe IOVA in the next few months too. So thank
Awesome.
you as always, man.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you as always.
Likewise, get better and like, subscribe, comment, share. Everybody follow.